It was the Madden with Michael Vick on the cover. I think it
Oh,
was
yeah,
04.
04.
Yeah,
04, baby.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? Trevor Sikkema here, sitting down with pass rusher Gregory Rousseau. He is one of the premier players in the 2021 NFL draft class. Very excited for this little interview that we get to do to sit down with him. So, Gregory, my man, I know that you opted out early, so you've had a lot of things going on with working out and preparing for the draft. But I know Jordan Reed at TDN talked to you a couple of months ago, but it's been a while since then. So, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Just working.
Yeah, just getting to work, I imagine. And so,
Yes,
all right, so for this interview, I wanted to take it back a little bit because in doing some research, I went back to your recruiting profile because you're a big dude, right? I mean, that's what pops out of the screen right away. Everybody talks about your measurables, how you can play a bunch of different positions, but I went back to your recruiting profile and it said you're about 6'6", 6'7", 220 pounds. And like, I imagine that was probably when you were 17 or 18. So my first question had to be this. As someone who has never dunked a basketball in his life, how old were you the first time you could actually dunk a basketball? I have to know this.
The first time, I want to say I was probably like 14, probably 13 or 14. Yeah. Like in the middle school, beginning like freshman year, like somewhere in between that time. Yeah, for sure.
Is it just like, because I feel like, look, I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, I'm 5'10", 5'11". It was never in the cards for me. I was never gonna dunk. That was never something that was happening for me. But I feel like that's got to be the coolest feeling in the world. Like the first time that you actually dunk a basketball.
Yeah. Not a lot of things beat that. It was pretty dope for sure.
So wait, did you play basketball? I actually don't. Do you have a basketball background on you?
Yeah, I played a little bit of basketball like in my earlier years of high school, like JV, and I played some like rec basketball like in middle school and stuff like that. But I was never like serious about basketball like I was about football. I like football a lot more for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when you get out there and when you can dunk at 14, I mean, even if you're not serious about it, you got to play pickup a little bit just to make sure you flex on them and show them that you can dunk a little bit. So I like, okay, so with you being able to dunk at such a young age and talking about how tall you were. How come you didn't play receiver? Like, or did you? Or actually, you did. I think play a little bit of receiver in high school. Was that just like was that the first position that you played? Was wide receiver?
Yeah, the first position I played, like optimist, which doesn't really count, was running back. But then, like when I got in high school, I was playing receiver. Yeah, I played running back when I was like 10, 11 years old.
Okay. I was gonna say if you were sitting back there like 6'4" being a running back, I'd have been like, what? That's a mismatch nightmare for anybody. So you played a little bit of receiver. How long did you play receiver before you started to get into some other positions?
Well, like I want to say freshman year of high school, I was focused on playing receiver. But then sophomore year, I started playing a little bit of DN, and I liked it. I had got a couple sacks, some TFLs, and I was like, yeah, this is pretty fun. But then my junior year, I went back to playing receiver, played some outside linebacker, safety. So I was pretty much all over the field. But in senior year, I transitioned again back to playing DN because I knew that's what Coach Diaz was recruiting me to play at Miami. So I knew I had to, get ready for it and hone in on my skills before I went to college. So I played pretty much like a mix of everything in college.
So I was gonna say you were that dude in high school football who it's like, okay, that guy's got a future playing D1 ball, so we're basically gonna use him wherever we can.
Wherever we want. Yeah.
Do you have like this is kind of out of nowhere, but like, do you have a play that's your favorite at not defensive end? Like, was there a play at receiver or like you said, like running back or safety or something that just sticks out in your head that you remember from having a high school memory?
Receiver, definitely fade ball for sure. Fade ball. Yeah. I used to love those. It was easy. It was an easy touchdown for sure.
I bet you were going up against dudes that were basically just like my height, like 5'9", 5'10". Yeah. You're sitting there like 6'5".
Just going up and getting it. It was so fun.
So I was going to ask, what was the big motivating factor then if you played so many different positions, moving to defensive end full time when it came to, you kind of honing in on a singular position? Mm-hmm. Was it really that recruiting cycle? I know you talked about Diaz there, but was it throughout the recruiting cycle the whole time? Like were all of the schools looking at you as a defensive end, or were there some who thought you might be a wide receiver?
Yeah, I actually got some offers to be like a athlete and some to be a wide receiver. Like for example, for wide receiver, I got Indiana, I got NC State as a wide receiver. But I started like realizing like notice a trend of like my bigger offers like LSU and Georgia. Those were all for like outside linebacker / DN. So I was like, man, I must have a lot more potential at that position than I do at wide receiver. So I was like, yeah, let me make sure I can make this work and let me get better at playing defensive end and playing on the defensive side of the ball rather than playing wide receiver. But Coach Diaz, which obviously I went to Miami, obviously, and just talking to him, he just dropped so much knowledge on me about the position and the measurables of other people who played my position. And like he coached at NC State when Manny Lawson and Mario Williams were there. So he was telling me like, yeah, man, they look just like you. They played, some of them even played receiver in high school. So I was like, yeah, that could be me for sure. So just Coach Diaz being in my ear and telling me all that stuff, it really helped me out.
Man, the name of the game is always getting athletes on that side of the ball. And so I could definitely see why they would want to move you there. Dude, if you tell me you were listed as an athlete, I do a little bit of recruiting stuff. Like I'll go check out the recruiting list and everything. And if I would have seen a 6'6", 225, just ATH dude sitting there on the recruiting list, I'd have freaked out. So that's that's funny that you were listed a little bit as an athlete. So so going back to your recruiting profile and then getting into your Miami days, you were listed. Now you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think you were listed around like 220 when you got to Miami. And then of course you had a little bit of time there before you really broke out with that 15.5 sack season in 2019. So what was the body transformation like for you? Because, you talk about you playing on the line, on the defensive line. That's a different even body shape, even for a tall guy, than when you're kind of playing receiver and athlete and everything like that. So what was that strength and conditioning like in your first couple of years in Miami before you really had that breakout year as a defensive end?
Well, it went like this. I early enrolled in January, and spring ball, I want to say, started like late March after spring breaks. But like for that whole like January, February period, I probably gained like 15 pounds of like real like solid weight, So by that time, I was like in the high 230s, had a good spring. Gained a couple more pounds, maybe 5 more pounds that summer. I was like 245 my freshman year. I ended up getting hurt, but I rehabbed and like trusted the process. And I came back the next year even stronger, weighing like 240. I want to say like 246 maybe. 245, 246. And I had a real good season, obviously playing at that weight. So yeah, that was it for me for my college career.
Run me through a day of eating. I got to know, because you packing on, I think about that all the time. These guys, they get into these college programs and they do such a great job. I mean, like, you look fantastic on there. When I look at some of your high school pictures and then how you look when you were having that 15.5 sack season, I mean, you put in the work, you transformed your body. And I know Miami's got a great staff down there as well, but I'd love to hear, run me through a day when you were going from like 220 to 235, go from when you wake up to when you go to bed. Let me know what happened.
I'd wake up and I would drink like a protein shake at some point in the morning before my lift. I don't really eat breakfast before my lifts, but so I'll drink a shake before my lifts. Then after my lifts, I would drink a shake again, like a post lift, workout shake, the Gatorade shakes or whatever. And then after that, I'd eat breakfast, because then it'd be like, freshmen workout early, so it'd be like 8 o'clock probably. Eat breakfast. Then I would chill out for a couple of hours. Then I'd get lunch, and then I would go to class, have my day at class, and then sometimes I'd come back and eat with the nutritionist. I'd eat like a slight meal with the nutritionist, nothing crazy, but a slight meal. Then I'd eat dinner later, and then before bed, I'd have like a peanut butter jelly sandwich. So I had like in the length of a day, I'd have like 2 or 3 protein shakes and like 4 solid meals. So like it was a lot of eating. I felt like a stuffed animal. Like, it was crazy.
I bet, but like, they know what they're doing, right? I mean, like, you clearly put in the work. And I wondered if you were going to sneak that peanut butter and jelly sandwich in there, because I hear that all the time, when I ask people about some weight gains and when they're putting on muscle, especially for college football programs, that peanut butter jelly before bed. Like that's what they swear about.
It's a staple. Yeah. It works. It works.
So when you got up to a weight that you didn't feel like an overinflated stuffed animal, when you were comfortable playing, I
Yeah.
noticed that they have you playing all kinds of different spots. I mean, you
Yeah.
played defensive end, you played 3 tech, you played nose tech. I mean, what was the motivation behind getting you in all those spots? Was it ever you asking your coaches like, hey, can I play here? Or was it just them seeing how much success you were having and them saying like, hey, Gregory, we want to put you inside on this play or something like that? Take me through like how you got so versatile, because you're all over the place on your tape.
Yeah. And it was really just me just finding the opportunity out there, because sometimes you can't. At the beginning of the season, I didn't start,
Sure. Yeah.
So just finding a way on the field, whether it's I was going to do whatever it was, even if I was playing corner, not realistically, but you know what I mean.
Hey,
So
I've thought about it before. Don't get me wrong. You had wide receiver on your recruiting profile, so I'm sitting over
yeah,
here like, dude, put this guy at corner. He's like 6'7" and he can move.
there we go, there we go. But what's it called? Yeah, basically just finding a way in the field, and just being relentless and like not backing down from anything. Because like some people, when they're told like, oh, you're not starting, it'll break them. But for me, it made me want to go hard. It made me want to go harder. So I was just like, yeah, like you can put me on the field. My first couple of games, I only got like 13, 14 snaps in 2019. But it was just me like taking advantage of those snaps and just putting my best foot forward when I was out there and just doing what I could with the amount of time I had in the field. And then later my role increased and kept growing. And it got to the point where I was starting on third down and I was starting on base defense on first and second down at DN.
That's how it goes a lot, like whether it's offensive or defensive line, it's all, you just got to be ready. You got to be ready for your opportunity and you put in the work to be ready for it when your name was called early on. Now, I want to tap into a little bit of your expertise because you have had a lot of experience both rushing with your hand in the dirt from a 3-point stance and then also rushing from like a 2-point stance. Mm-hmm. What are the big differences for you personally when it comes to 3 and 2-point stance? And I know you've got plenty of tape out there that says that you could do both. I know that you could definitely do both. It's not like one or the other, but what are some of your like advantages or disadvantages you see right now when it comes to like when you feel like you're rushing from a stand-up position or when you're rushing from your hands in the dirt? Take me through like what you think the advantages of each are for you.
I feel like when I'm rushing with my hand in the dirt, I feel like I can get off the ball. I feel like I get off the ball better. Just being low to the ground and things like that. I feel like when I'm in the inside of my hands in the dirt, I feel like things happen a lot. They happen a lot quicker sometimes with the guards because you're right up on them. But I feel like it's also easier sometimes because they have shorter arms in the interior usually, and they're a little bit shorter. Yeah. So if I can get past them and get like, let's say, work like a quick scissors move, I can get past them real quick. Yeah. And get some pressure on the quarterback real quick. I'm also a man closer to the quarterback because I'm pushed inside and I'm at 3-tech or nose. I'd say on the outside, I also do like standing up because I could see more, whether it's read option, whether it's like a motion, like a jet sweep coming from the other side of the field. I feel like I see more when I'm standing up. So, and honestly, for me, both of those are cool. Both of them they're both fun. Nothing really changes too much. It's just really like your first step that might change. Yeah. But I'm for sure comfortable in both positions.
Yeah, I know
it's standing up or inside.
Yeah, no, I know that for some guys it's just a little bit of a preference, but I know from watching your tape, you're clearly somebody who's working at both and you're comfortable with both. Yeah. It goes into your versatility. A lot of like what you were saying, playing nose, playing 3-tech, playing as an outside linebacker, all this kind of stuff, which is why I know a lot of teams are going to be coveting you come April. So I know that this has been talked about plenty in some other interviews that you've done, but now that it is kind of officially draft season and there are a lot of fans that are going to be turning the page from their NFL season to now, who could my team be drafting? Your story is a big one because you were one of the first major names in college football to opt out due to COVID-19 and everything that was happening with the pandemic. And doing some more research, I kind of learned that it wasn't just hey, I'm doing this solely to prepare for the NFL draft, or I wasn't comfortable with my college situation. You did it for your mom. I was reading that you did it because she's a nurse. She deals with a lot with COVID-19 things and being on the front lines there. And so just want to hear kind of in your own words, your decision to opt out, why you came to that decision and why it was something that you stuck with and you felt good with after a lot of thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, like you said, my mom, she was on the front lines, and for me to be able to just to help her out, I couldn't really pass the opportunity up, especially with everything and all this uncertainty that was going on back then. I didn't know what was going to happen.
Sure.
So it was just a move that I just felt like I had to make, for just me and my family.
Yeah. No, it's one of my favorite things about when I was doing some research about you, learning that and being able to do that with your mom. All right, so let's have some fun to round this out. Let's go into some fun questions here. I know you're a big Madden guy, and I know that because I think I heard you bring up Madden like 3 or 4 times in other interviews that I was watching. And so I got to know, how'd you fall in love with Madden? Tell me the first Madden game that you played, who you roll with, like who's your team, like who you're rocking with.
It was the Madden with Michael Vick on the cover. I think it
was
04.
04.
Yeah,
04, baby.
Yeah.
That was also that was the first Madden I ever owned. And that's like I've been in love with Madden ever since. So yeah, that's a good one. That's probably the correct answer there.
Yeah, and my brother bought it, and I used to just watch it and just seeing how fun it looked. I was like, man, that sport looks really fun. So I just started when I was like maybe 6 years old. I started actually going outside and just running around with the football, playing with my older brothers and stuff like that, and it just evolved into what the situation is today. But it was definitely Madden, and right now Madden has evolved a lot, obviously with next gen gaming and stuff.
Of course,
But I still play Madden all the time on the PS5.
Who's your team? Who's your team you roll with?
I use the Browns. I like using the Chargers sometimes because Herbert's really nice.
Yeah.
Who else?
Browns. Browns.
The Browns are solid for sure. And I use the Vikings sometimes too.
Okay, so you are all right. So now I'm picking up a little bit here. You got Herbert for like the arm, but then if you're going Browns or Vikings, I mean, you're pounding Dalvin Cook or Nick Chubb or something. I mean, exactly. You're just imposing your will on these people.
Yeah,
so
okay, that's why I don't pick the Chargers too much because I need the running game. I feel like if you can run the ball, it's like real life. If you can run the ball, you're gonna win.
There it is. Old school mentality, baby.
Yeah,
I love it. I do.
Yeah.
I love that. That's good. All right. My next kind of fun question I had for you. Are you a jersey guy? Like, did you have like a jersey, like jerseys that you collected of like pro players or like college players in high school? Were you a jersey guy?
I'd say I'm a jersey guy, but only for basketball.
All right. No. That's totally fine. That totally works because I want to ask because everybody's always got great stories when it comes to who their first jersey was. And so I'd love to know what's the first jersey you ever got? And then just like, what's your favorite jersey you've ever had?
The first jersey I ever got was a LeBron James jersey when he was on the Heat because I was like a huge fan.
All right.
You can't go wrong with that. There we go. But my favorite jersey I ever got, and it's one that I wanted for the longest, is the throwback Raptors Tracy McGrady jersey with like you know what I'm talking about? The purple one? Yeah.
Yes. Dude, McGrady is one of my favorite players. So I grew up in Florida, and so I knew the Orlando Magic Tracy McGrady first. But that is great because McGrady is that's a fantastic choice. And then the old school Raptors jerseys, those are sick.
Mm-hmm.
Those
they're
are
dope.
sick.
They're so unique. You can't go wrong with them.
That's the thing about a jersey. Like you got to have a unique jersey. That's why I think everybody loves throwbacks. Like whether it's Toronto or
the Vancouver, the Grizzlies one is pretty dope too. I'm trying to get one of those.
The teal one?
They're like the teal one, yeah.
Yeah.
Those are pretty cool. Yeah.
That one is sick. You gotta get like a John Morant one, but it's just like the old school one.
Yeah. Because I think they switched their jerseys back to the old ones, right?
I think so.
I think I saw them wearing some teal or the white ones with teal on them. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna get the John Morant jersey. For sure.
I'm down with that. These were fantastic jersey answers. You didn't let me down here. Okay. This is the last fun question. And then I got a little bit more of Miami ones, but then we'll get you out of here.
Okay.
All right. $1,000 on the line. Okay. You've got to beat me at something that's not football. Like, what are you good? Like, it can be video games, although I'm gonna warn you, I'm not bad at Madden. So I don't know about that, but like it could be chess, cooking something in the kitchen, race car driving, like something. Like if $1,000 is on the line and you got to beat me at something fun or different that's not football. You got anything? Tic-tac-toe, thumb wars, checkers?
I was going to say rock, paper, scissors, shoot. But I'd need a couple warm-up games to see how you throw and to see like what you lean towards after you lose, and then I can play you for the money for sure.
Okay, so you might be you might be a good coin flip guy. Like in the NFL, did they send you out there and they're like heads or tails? Because that's a big guessing game. But you can just stand there straight face and be like, yeah, I know it's gonna be tails. And then when it is,
yeah, look, sign me up for that. Sign me up for that.
Okay, all right. So rock, paper, scissors, you could beat me at that. The only other questions I had, man, talk about your time at Miami. I mean, when I was looking at that Miami sideline of the games I was watching, they got Ed Reed there. There's so many big connections, like he's on his staff and there's so many guys coming back. I mean, how special is that to be a Miami player, University of Miami player, and have those legends around the program like you did?
It's huge. There's so much history that goes into going to UM, and just being around people like Ed Reed and seeing people like Jonathan Vilma come around the facility and be able to talk to them and for them to be able to share some knowledge with you and put you on game about certain things, it means everything. And also while I was there, I had a great time with my teammates. The bonds I built there over the past 2.5 years, 3 years they're unbreakable. I had the time of my life when I was in Miami, and I'm so blessed that I was able to have the opportunity to go there and just be around such great people. Also want to shout out my medical staff. The medical staff over there, they really helped me out when I was trying to bounce back from my ankle. They really helped me put the work in, and for that, I'm forever grateful to Miami.
All right, so you gave a little bit of a shout out there. Time to give some shout out to your teammates. Tell us some guys that you played with, or some guys coming up, whether it's in this draft class, maybe they haven't declared yet, but either this draft class or maybe the future ones. Like, who do we need to be looking out for the next NFL dudes who you got to play with at Miami?
For sure, number one on the D-line, Nessa J. Silvera. He's a dog. And
Ooh, all right.
Probably going to come out maybe next year. He came in with me. He's my class, 2018 high school. But yeah, he's a dog for sure, and he's only gonna get better, So he's really exciting to watch. He's like my best friend, but that's not why I'm shouting him out. Not because he's my boy. He's actually a real good football player, and I feel like he's gonna be on the rise next year. He'll have a lot of hype around his name for sure.
That could be both. Like he could be your boy, and he could still be good at football. I figure,
exactly.
Guys who are as good as you are probably aren't hanging around with dudes who stink anyway. So
yeah.
So that's good, man. No, well, Gregory, I really appreciate the time, man. Best of luck as you go through this journey, continue to work out, prove yourself to these NFL teams, man. We really appreciate it. We'll be talking to you soon.
For sure. Thank you.
That was great stuff from Gregory. Make sure you don't miss any of the other prospect interviews that we are going to be doing during this cycle by liking and subscribing to TDN's YouTube channel below. Also, if you're not already, make sure you are signed up for TDN Premium. Doing so gets you access to all of the features of the advanced mock draft machine. You will also get access to our TDN Slack. Of course, the draft portfolios that will be coming up as we get closer to draft day, all over at thedraftnetwork.com.